Hey there, Tamir from FIBONACCI.com, your daily market recap from Phuket, Thailand. Like, subscribe, and let's see the charts. So we got ourselves a little bit bearish on the daily. Look at this. Now the 425 area is the support. Below this gap needs to get filled. Maybe Friday this gap will get filled. Maybe next week we will see the 520 once again as support. Don't forget, more than 85% of all gaps will get filled. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. But overall, we are still bullish on the weekly. One candle does not change the overall sentiment. And for now, the overall sentiment is still bullish. Yes, we are 3 out of 4 time frames bearish sentiment, because the FTI recognized a very big bearish candle. Last time we saw this kind of candle was end of April. Now once again bearish. Not surprising after this bull run. Very healthy. QQQ, same thing. Went all the way 460 and then went down. 455 now is the support. Below it 444. Overall still bullish on the daily, still bullish on the weekly. One candle does not change the overall sentiment, and yes, we are still inside an uptrend channel. And as long as we are inside this channel, the channel takes us up. Only a break below this channel, breaking below the 444, and then we can say bears will take control over back to the 431, and then this gap at the 427 will get filled. Say good morning to the cat behind me. Dow Jones 1.5% to the downside. This gap is filled back inside the yellow zone, heading back to the 382 area to close this gap. Let's see, 3 out of 4 time frames bearish, bullish on the weekly. Remember, Monday market is closed. Be prepared for more, in my opinion, more bearish on Friday and the week on the bearish side. Also IWM with 1.6% to the downside, got itself inside the yellow zone. Now the 201 is the support. Below it this gap will get filled. Overall also on the IWM bullish on the weekly. Yes, we are bearish on 3 out of 4 time frames, but look how this trend line is holding support. Breaking below this gap will get filled. One candle does not change this uptrend channel. We are 3 out of 4 time frames bearish because the FTI says this is not the time to go long on the IWM. Bitcoin, for the time that I'm recording this video, slowly went down, back, retesting the yellow zone as support, breaking down and under, and we will see 64,600 back again. Ethereum holding strong above the 3,700, breaking below, and we will see 35 to the downside. Long continuation only above 39.50, and then 42 and 46.20 bullish on all time frames on Ethereum. MAGS, the Magnificent 7 ETF, you know this blue trend line. We talked about that there is a very high chance that Magnificent 7 price will go and retest this blue trend line as resistance for the higher highs. And look at this, high of the day went all the way up to this blue trend line together with a future Fibonacci resistance and got rejected. Overall, we're still bullish on Magnificent 7 daily, weekly, still bullish. Now the 450 that was resistance now needs to hold the support. Below it 39.65, and then this gap will get filled. SOXX, after Nvidia's earnings, everybody expected SOXX will go to the upside, but SOXX made a new all-time highs, intraday new all-time highs, and then back retesting the 233 area as support. Below it 227. Overall, look at the FTI. The FTI, the only tool that will help you control your emotions, control your decisions and make better, smarter decisions. All this bearish candle, and we are still bullish on the daily, bullish on the weekly. One click away and the FTI can be yours to make better decisions and become a much better trader. XLF with 1.4% to the up, to the downside, broke the yellow zone all the way to the 50% retracement. Now the 41 will be the next support, otherwise 40.70 incoming. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Look at the Apple, broke back this uptrend blue line. This blue line, we can erase it, it's not relevant anymore, but we are still bullish on the weekly. 2% on Apple. Last time we saw 2% on Apple, 2% to the downside on Apple was here, April 15th, 2.2%. Now 2.1% to the downside, broke below the 188 area, the 187. We got ourselves 3 out of 4 time frames bearish. It doesn't mean we need to go short on Apple. It just means that if we are long on Apple, maybe this is the time to rethink our long position, because we might see all the way back to the 180, retesting this lower border of this uptrend channel, and maybe then look for the bounce back. Mara with 5.5% to the downside, holding barely above the yellow zone, breaking down and under, and we will see 1920 and 1840. But overall, Mara also, look at this, trend lines, Fibonacci, FTI, that's it. This is all you need. Mara is still in an uptrend, got rejected by the higher border of this uptrend channel. The 20 area needs to hold, otherwise 1920, and then retesting the lower border of the uptrend channel. MicroStrategy 6.2% to the downside. Also 3 out of 4 time frames bearish. Once again, it doesn't mean that we need to start go short on MicroStrategy. It just means that if we are long, it's time to manage our risk a little bit more carefully, a little bit more tight. Maybe close it and wait for the bounce of the 1462 or below it. This gap at the 1290 will get filled. Microsoft is 0.8% to the downside. Still overall, blue trend line, blue uptrend channel holding strong, retesting the lower border of this uptrend channel before the next leg up. You can put the FTI. The 423 is the support. Below it, breaking the blue channel, and we will see 416 to the downside. Overall, bullish on the daily, bullish on the weekly. One candle, and it doesn't matter how big it is, does not change the overall sentiment. And when I say sentiment, I mean the trend. Nvidia with new all-time highs at the 1063, but look at this. Price action went all the way to the future Fibonacci resistance, all the way to this upper border of this uptrend channel, got rejected. We ended up the day with a doji. At some point, Nvidia went up 12%, closed the day with the 932. Now 1000 is the support. Below it, back to the previous all-time highs at the 956. CLSK 7% to the downside. Once again, trend lines prove themselves as the true support and resistance for price action. Look at this, at the past 3 trading days, CLSK tried, getting rejected by this blue trend line. Now the next support is back to this yellow zone, and you can put the FTI on your chart. 1693 is the support, below it 1624, and then back to this yellow zone. Netflix 0.75% to the downside, holding strong above the 627, below it 610. Overall bullish on the daily, bullish on the weekly. Tesla continues to break to the downside. Another day, another 3.4% to the downside. You remember we talked about this candle. You remember that I said I want another day above the yellow zone, above the trend line. We had a trend line. We had this trend line. It was red. You remember it? And I said I want another day or two breaking and closing above the red trend line, because one candle does not change the overall sentiment. And here we are back again to the downside after Wednesday inside candle. Now we got ourselves downside. 173 needs to hold, below it 168 and 158. Overall Tesla still under bearish sentiment. AMD 3% to the downside. Let's clean the chart a little bit. This gap is irrelevant anymore. Now bearish back again on all time frames on AMD, broke inside the yellow zone. Now downtrend continuation, and this gap at the 153 area will get filled. And look at this, the FTI also helps us to identify gaps. Like, subscribe, check the links in the description below if you want to start making money from trading, how to become financial freedom with trading. Check the links in the description below. Choose your path for financial freedom, whether it's the one-on-one live mentorship with me or the same thing pre-recorded. Both programs will gain you lifetime access for support and guidance from me, and of course all Discord channels. So check the links in the description below and let's start this amazing journey together, hand in hand. And I promise I will not let your hand go until you will want me to let it go. Google 1.6% to the downside, holding above the 172. Below it 168 is the support. Meta overall holding pretty good, but once again, look at this. Trend lines, this is it. All you need to understand is your trend. And for now, this blue trend line, since we marked it, since we drew it maybe 2 weeks ago, still holding as a very tough resistance. Once again, the high of the day into the trend line got rejected. Now all this area, the 460, needs to hold the support. Below it 455, and then 446 and 428. Let me know in the comments below, can Meta finally break above this blue trend line? Maybe not this week, maybe next week, no one knows. But you can also put the FTI on your chart. The FTI will give you all this future support and resistance for price action. Amazon 1.14% to the downside, and here we are once again. Trend lines proves themselves as the true roadmap for future price action. Amazon grinding on the lower border of this option channel. We are still inside an option channel, but this is not the time to go long on Amazon. How do we know it? Because the FTI tells us we are 3 out of 4 time frames. We are bearish. We are below the sell signal on the daily. Doesn't mean we need to go short on Amazon, but we need to prepare, because if Amazon will break another 2 days below this green line, below the 179, then we are heading back to the 172. We have a gap that needs to get filled here at the 174. Below it 166. Below 166, the FTI tells us you have another gap at the 159. SMCI 3% to the downside, bearish on all time frames. Back inside the daily yellow zone. Found support at the 50% retracement. Below it 804, 764, and then 700 to the downside. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, like, subscribe, and don't forget to check the links in the description below. Choose your path to financial freedom. Until the next video, stay safe.